Well, for those of us that use iPhones, Blackberries, Google, any of the staples of modern technology, apparently we are all screwed. Despite the economic slump, there is one sector which is booming and raking in billions. It's the spying sector. And who else but Wikileaks is helping to bring this all to light? Their new project called Spy Files is exposing how private surveillance companies are selling monitoring software to various governments across the globe. This is software that tracks your every move by monitoring your phone, online activity, and your Facebook. And who are these companies selling the information to? Apparently, they don't discriminate and sell it to Western intelligence agencies and countries ran by dictators alike. Here's what Julian Assange has to say about this.
Who here has an iPhone? Who here has a Blackberry? Who here uses Gmail? Well, you're all screwed.
Alex Jones is here to talk more about this. Hi, Alex. I first wanted to ask you, what kind of phone do you use?
I use a globalist-designed Apple iPhone, which surveils everywhere I go, everything I do, and reports in real time. Under the Telecommunications Act of '96, all cell phones by October 1st, 2001, had to be tracked and have back doors built into them so that governments and private corporations could get in and get your data. And then this is basically, as you were just saying, sold off to the highest bidder.
So you too are a victim of this. You are susceptible to being tracked.
Yes, and a lot of people say, well, I've done nothing wrong, so what do I have to hide? The point is, people didn't do anything wrong, and Hitler did horrible things to them. People didn't do anything wrong in China, and Mao did horrible things to them. It's the fact that this data is used to manipulate populations, to track populations, and it's our private information. At a time when governments and corporations are more secretive than ever, they basically have designed the very architecture. In fact, I have an article right here on the London Telegraph last week, and they say, Apple iTunes flaw allowed government spying for 3 years. It's not a flaw. Under the Telecommunications Act of '96, and this was standardized all over the world, except in a few countries, from Australia to the US, everything has back doors under international agreement built into it, whether it's OnStar, whether it's TomTom, whether it's iPhone, whether it's Motorola, it doesn't matter what it is. Google Droid, Assange was talking about Gmail. Google admittedly reads your mail, has computers read it. Google 6 years ago put a press release out, we covered this at prisonplanet.com, and said to its shareholders, a wonderful new thing. We're not just going to track what websites you're on and put cookies up there and put ads to local restaurants or movies where you live. If we hear your dog barking in the background, we'll have dog food ads. We'll know what TV shows you're watching. We're going to use the onboard cameras and microphones and laptops and computers to use computers to watch you. I mean, this is beyond 1984. 12 years ago here in Austin, I saw the federal grants to put hidden microphones in streetlights. They just announced it publicly last week. So this has all been put in. It's Pentagon designed, and it's a total control grid. Just as Richard Stallman on RT a few days ago, world famous free software philosophy father, said that Facebook, all these systems are designed. Google is Western intelligence. Facebook, all of it. It's just amazing that they've gone from denying this Big Brother system to just admitting it.
And you know, Alex, you've been warning us about Big Brother watching, and this new project from Wikileaks proves that this is in fact happening. But it's not only our government. The spying transcends borders. Apparently, these companies, surveillance companies, they're not shying away from selling it to countries that the West hasn't really liked, to dictators. So why would these companies turn a blind eye and sell to these regimes of dictators?
Well, that's what they say on the surface, but most of these mega companies are Western. They're based in Europe, Western Europe, England, and the United States, Australia, New Zealand, that constellation of once free, prosperous nations that have been taken over by the big six mega banks that are imploding the world economy right now. They want the world to think they're selling data to everybody, but they're selling tainted data. They're selling the data that they want to different groups. None of this is being done without government authorization. 10 years ago, Admiral Poindexter of Iran-Contra fame set up the Total Information Awareness Network. And they publicly said every email, every phone call, every fax, everything you watch via the cable and TiVo, everything you do is put in your psychological algorithm file. And through this, they believe they would be able to create an Isaac Asimov Foundation type scenario, because yesterday's science fiction is today's present, to literally predict the future. That's the holy grail of this. And here's an article out of the New York Times just in October. Government admits to build a digital data eye in the sky off of Isaac Asimov's Foundation series predicting the future. In mass movements, they have a 99% prediction right now, a literal crystal ball, a lensing device, over the horizon future prediction. In individuals, they admit 93 to 96. This is the holy grail of the worldwide eugenics banking cartel. This is why they're so hard to beat. They knew when the Arabs were going to start revolting against their own puppets, so they triggered their own fake revolutions to then put CIA, Al-Qaeda in. They literally, the globalists have future prediction crystal ball electronic devices now. This is the big secret. So what you're being given has NSA alarms going off all over the world right now.
So this technology not only is used to spy on people, you're saying it's being used to predict the future.
Because it can take trillions of actions. Google brags that over 90+% of the time, they know where you're going to pull off and eat a steak before you do it, before you consciously think of it. They know what books you're going to buy in actuaries ahead of the books even coming out, because they have hundreds of millions of different data links from you and other psychological typecasts similar to you. They know what you watch. They know when you tune out of an ad. They know what shows. They know what pornography you like. They know what sexual fetishes you have. They know who your friends and family are. They have face scans of your entire family tree and friends. On Facebook, it's all a giant map to map human activity before it happens.
And Alex, you know, these products, they're referred to as lawful intercept. How is it that this industry is able to go unregulated, and that is how they're raking in billions?
Well, it's not lawful intercept. It's done through fraud. They claim they're allowed to by kind of hedging their responsibility between different contracts and groups. But something that still is a fraud, and if people aren't aware of the contract they're signing because it's lengthy and deceptive, it doesn't hold water. When you sign up with Google, when you sign up with Apple, when you sign up with Yahoo, when you sign up with Facebook, Twitter, all these groups intimately connected to the CIA, NQTEL, all these other groups in the founding of it, just like the CIA and DARPA created the internet, they have created its modern architecture. And so they spin off with the different intelligence operatives and create what looks like a constellation of private companies. And of course, these mercenaries do profit, but they still operate within the larger global intelligence network over these different private companies, where they then trick you to sign the contract, and then they basically instantly upload it. I mean, 9 years ago, USA Today admitted that the big three pizza companies, the large three, and now I've been told by insiders it's most of even the small ones, that when you order a pizza in the United States or Canada, they know that you're calling with your real name, real credit card from where you really are at. They run that through a criminal background check. So if the government wants to send a SWAT team or wants to come after you for warrants or whatever, for unpaid parking tickets, they know right where you're at. When you call up a pizza place, they don't tell you that in many cases the pizza sale is a secondary business.
Alex, I just want to ask you, I mean, it seems like everybody is susceptible to this, anybody that uses technology. I mean, what do we do? What do you expect Americans to do? I mean, people are so dependent on these devices these days.
Well, again, it's just like poisoning a pond where you know animals are going to drink that you want to get rid of. It's the same system. The entire architecture, technology is neutral, obviously, until it becomes artificially intelligent, which may have already happened. We're not going to be told when that happens. They have designed the infrastructure so it's a control device. By becoming aware of it, by not signing these contracts, by supporting alternative search engines like startpage.com and others that use proxies that don't track your data, by becoming aware of this and voting with our dollars and voting with what sites we visit, we can shift the architecture of this. Just 10, 12 years ago, you couldn't find organic food on a store shelf in the U.S. Now, because of people voting with their dollars, it is literally supplanting the mainline GMO garbage now, and all the major companies that 5 years ago said high fructose corn syrup's good for you when they knew it wasn't, they're now pulling it out of their products because the public is rebelling and has had a mass awakening. But Admiral Poindexter admitted all of this. When they got caught doing this 10 years ago and Congress ordered the Total Information Awareness Network disbanded, they just announced, well, we'll just go with front companies. And so basically, most of these companies are really private, corporate, fascist pyramids within pyramids, Russian dolls, nesting within each other of the larger panopticon DARPA control grid system. So that's why they call it Total Information Awareness Network. It is the Azimuth future prediction system that they've worked so hard to get.
Alex, this is very fascinating stuff. Unfortunately, we are out of time. That was radio host Alex Jones.
Thank you.